something with Zoom. But Steve, everyone here's now. Apologize for the interruption. Reverend Anderson or Mayor Lott. I see your face, Mayor Lott. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
You coming in kind of spotty there, but Reverend Anderson was going to introduce you. I can't believe I can't get him to come to the mic. Look like there he's coming now, or he's going somewhere else. But on behalf of the city of Camden, would you give us a couple of words of welcome and let them know about the Lafayette Restoration Project? The audience, please. Hey, Mayor Lott, you're muted. See if you can unmute yourself.
All right, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, well, I pulled over. We were blessed that I just saw Dr. King a few minutes ago at an announcement, and I'm headed back. And so I want to say how pleased we are for you guys to come and to help and to assist us. We understand the agriculture is really growing. New businesses are being built around it. We want to make sure that those who have land are able to secure that land, do the things that they need to continue not only grow food, but to also do other things in our community to leave a proper legacy. So every time you come, I am happy to be a part of all that you're doing. As you may know, with the new legislation and things that's happening, this is a great time to have land, and it's a great time to know what to do and how to keep it for future generations. So I want to say thank you. One of the guys who is there had come in to speak on my behalf because I didn't know if I would be in a spotted area. So I will digress. Mr. Ben Wooten was supposed to be my in-person person. I hope Dr. King will tell you where I was today, so that you'll respect the fact that I am absent. I'm not present physically. I hope he'll tell you at some point where I am. Mr. Wooten.
Thanks, Mayor. Pastor Shiloh Church, everybody today. Handing in Mayor Lott. As you know, he couldn't be here today. He have another good, good news for the state of Arkansas and for the city of Camden. State of Arkansas was awarded $95 million for watershed, for flooding, and he just happened to be a part of that organization that made that happen. And also the city of Camden will be receiving some of those funds. So it's good news for Camden and the state of Arkansas. He said he couldn't be here, but he sent the next best. So y'all got it, okay? And I'm gonna be stepping out. I have another meeting that started at 3 to attend, also with good news. And we pretty much did a lot of the legwork on it. And so I'm gonna be exiting, and just as soon as I get back to my office, I'll be tuning in. Thanks once again. Be careful, Mayor.
Thank you. Is Reverend Anderson there?
Yes, of course, Reverend Anderson is here, Mayor, and we are glad that you were able to Zoom in today. And I know that you're not absent because you didn't want to be here, but you had something that was really important, the watershed program that you were on the initiating part of. was a part of your baby. And so we're glad that you were allowed to be a part of that. And we thank you for stopping to just let us know. And I'm sure Dr. King will acknowledge that he did reach you and everything is okay. All right. Were you able to hear me? Are we having audio problems?
So we can hear you, Reverend Anderson.
Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, so I'm thankful for you sending your right-hand man by to represent you and to let those who are here know that although you were not able to be here physically, you were here mentally, and you sent a representative of your mental presence. Thank you for that. And since I'm on the floor this time, I'll go ahead and share my introduction. I have passed out a package each of you, and and in the package is the information that I'm going to be sharing. And so you don't have to try to remember everything that I say. You can take it with you, it'll be in writing. In that package is some background information, and the background information do with a brief history of the Lafayette School. And that history, instead of taking up the time to share that history, I'm going to allow checking that history from the package that I've given you, so that we can move on. The Lafayette School Restoration Incorporated is a group of former students and their descendants and other concerned citizens from Camden and Washita County. The group was organized in 2001 for the set goal of acquiring and restoring their school property for community needs. And with that goal in mind, the group set about to bring that goal to fruition. In March 2002, we received our 501c3 status. In May of 2002, we had our first public fundraiser. In 2007, we gave scholarships for graduating seniors, and that's when we started giving scholarships for graduating seniors. In 2008, Lafayette Historical Marker was placed at the entrance of Smith Road and Highway 7. In 2013, we purchased the property, 9 acres of the Lafayette School property. 17, Lafayette Historical Marker was moved onto the Lafayette property in front of the gymnasium. And Dr. Jones sent some pictures that were emailed of the building, the inside, the outside, the roof, and the areas of that building. And he was hoping you would be able to see those pictures today of that building. In July of 17, we were able to obtain an architect who did a design development document drawing up for Lafayette Community Center. And I have a copy of that book here today. For those who are here, before you leave, I would like for you to take a look at that book and see the historical documented architectural work that has been done. November of 2017, Lafayette Gymnasium was nominated the Arkansas Historical Register. And March of 2022, we received a USDA form number. And our vision statement, I'll share that. We envision a diverse community where the opportunity for wealth and power is equitably distributed, and a community and service area that holds an expression of natural culture, norms, and beauty, where collective work is respectfully valued, where young people are future leaders and progressive social change is realized. Our vision is of a community for self-determination, self-reliance, home ownership, economic opportunity, environmentally safe and economically innovative community development, or a commonplace. And the mission statement, our organization's mission is to preserve the past and present culture and educational heritage and promote equal and equitable community economic development for the city of Camden and Ouachita County. Goal number 1 is to complete, innovate work to the gymnasium. Phase 1 is the exterior facade of that work. Would include roof remediation, and that's estimated to cost about $1,200. The exterior metal panels, repair and replace, and a new coating of paint, about $21,000. The exterior windows and doors, about $44,000. The brick masonry work, $8,400. The perimeter foundation testing, $12,600. Phase 2 of the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing installation. The new fire sprinkler system, about $42,000. A new electric power system, about $42,000. New water supply and sanitary sewer roof in, about $37,800. New heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, about $126,000. And phase 3, the interior surface, cladding refinishing work, structural analysis of the existing steel framed roof structure, $4,200. Hazardous material, asbestos, lead, and mold survey, $7. Cleaning and refinish all exposed steel decking, roof decking, and steel columns, purlins, and beam, $16,800. Installation of a spray applied thermal insulation to the roof decking, going to be $70,000. Installation of a spray applied thermal installation to the interior face of the perimeter walls, $14,000. Concrete floor treatment, $7,000. Interior masonry wall surface, $4,200. Phase 4, interior out. Installation of metal stud partitions and gypsum board cladding, $12,600. Toilet fit out, $8,400. Interior trim work, door installation, ceiling and paint, $21,000. New furniture, fitting and equipment, student stage equipment, sporting equipment, banquet seating, tables, tableware, equipment, complete installation is $129,000. Phase 5, commercial kitchen, $120,000. No, yes, 120. Providing tutoring for students and provide recreation for senior citizens and senior citizens care programs to involve community residents in designing, planning, and implementation of program activities geared towards business, education, community health, and well-being, and community economic development. This is the mission statement that we have proposed today, and we have already received our form number. Amen. And since we have received our form number, as soon as they have completed working on 2022, they will begin working with us. We are 2023. And we will be relying on NRCS to give leadership and direction to us in that. Take a look at, make an evaluation, and decide what will be necessary for us to do some to get a hoop house built for micro farming. But there's a lot that we're going to have to go into before we get to that, because we've got to check with the NRCS about equipment and watershed and the air property, and there's things that we will be to airshed about, and I'm sure that NRCS is here today to give us information on what is available to us. Okay, so this is my presentation. Hopefully it made some sense to you as to what we are trying to do in order to better the community, not only this community, but this state. And we believe that our work will make giant strides in producing a quality workforce and also improving the community economically and financially.
Hopefully everyone can hear me. I want to go back, Mayor Lott gave reference to the fact that I had seen him in Marietta, Arkansas, and that was for an announcement which was made today. Now, what he didn't mention, the fact that he was a point person and took a major leadership role in making all that occur. And of course, the Black Mayors Association, they were recognized for the work and their contribution to making that announcement a possibility. And that was his reason for being there. And I was glad to see him there. The total dollar amount of that announcement was some $96 million that will be coming to the state of Arkansas. And of course, Camden is one of those communities that will benefit from that particular funding, along with Lee County, Arkansas, Monroe County, Arkansas, the area that we're in. I'm going to proceed ahead with the agenda and really why we're here. You know, as we're talking about Camden is only one particular community. What we have attempted to do in this whole process, and we started this back some time ago with some other communities where they have a watershed, is to look at what they call prosperity communities and the various resource agencies that can participate and invest resources to make that comprehensive type of community economic development a reality. NRCS and the $96 million is only one of those particular resources and one of the areas that will be a part of such a development initiative. Along with what we talk about here today, after this and the follow-up part of other communities we've done this work in, we go back and we put together what is called a prosperity community plan. And that plan is filed back with USDA as you look at the outline of those areas, our specific goals and objectives that would be a part of it for those particular communities. As outlined in the areas, and I know they gave reference to 30 minutes, hopefully it will not take that longer period of time. What I'm hopeful we can do here today is just to briefly talk about what this blueprint represents and what each agency briefly has to offer. again, back to the NRCS portion, he mentioned the equip. So NRCS is already involved in one phase, an area of what such a prosperity community plan would consist of. So they're involved, they're engaged already. The area on the watershed, what that represents to address flooding in the area, that's a major economic community development contributing factor. So the $96 million that was announced today, the announcement that I was at with the mayor, along with other officials who were present there, it's going to be very, very important that the community as a whole, and that's engaging when you start to talk about the prosperity communities, you have to engage the entire community. And I'm glad they mentioned the counties, both Camden and the county, just as it is in Lee County, and how watersheds can benefit, or what the benefits will be of watersheds in the particular county as a whole, as well as for the town of the city of Camden. Flooding is an issue, and where flooding exists, and what will be the solutions to address that particular issue. It affects us from an economic perspective in a lot of ways, including homeowners being required to carry flood insurance because you're in a flood area, and it goes on and on. One of the other areas that was talked about was the air property issue. So hopefully we'll be a major role player in addressing air property. We do have educational information relevant to air property. We have that under NRCS and how they have supported our organization in addressing that issue, but also air property is going to fall upon a Farm Service Agency as well. And I'm sure they will talk some about that. But the relevance of that, air property can be a hindrance or barrier to community economic development if it's not addressed in the proper manner. So that's why air property is a part of the overall structural layout aspect of that. That would, and then of course, rural community development. Rural community development is the big player, on this from the structural aspect of it. A community facility, because we're talking about a community facility that's a part of the organizational aspect of this particular initiative. And when you say prosperity community, both from the business development standpoint, as well as from a housing community development perspective, that would have a key role. Workforce readiness would be a key role on the organization portion. And then to the extent that that rural development can both address and invest in those areas. Again, I'm hopeful we won't go into a lot of details about it. It would just talk about where the organizations are. NRCS have already made that big announcement that they had the chief from Washington, D.C. that was at the announcement that I attended today. So they have made a commitment. What's going to be very, very important about this overall process from a community perspective as a whole, in a comprehensive manner, be it with prosperity communities, are a comprehensive collective initiative on the part of these rural communities. It's going to be a lot of people working together. Again, the Black Mayors Association being one of those organizations involved, Arkansas Community Development Corporation will be involved, along with the elected officials. But everybody has to be at the table. Everyone has to be at the table, understanding, not just understanding the needs, but then on the part of the agencies being willing to do what NRCS did today, make that commitment from the state and national level. Mr. Mike Sullivan, he was president of State Conservation for NRCS. He was at that announcement as well. So $96 million is very meaningful and how all these communities will benefit. I'm hopeful that the other agencies will be at a point that they can make such a commitment as well. When I say other agencies, making such a commitment, there are a lot of ways how those commitments can be made. It has been done in the past about designating certain areas as, and again, prosperity communities is one way to approach it. So we have these identified prosperity communities. So we're committing this type of support. And I'm going to use FSA as an example to provide some assurances that we are addressing conservation with the CRP program, working back with our farmers in the local area. It may be a farm service agency where they will be committing themselves and to these prosperity areas of communities where they're going to have a priority on supporting micro-urban farms, and this because the financial arm of it comes back in behind the operation of those micro-urban farms. and FSA committing also that they would take priority in making sure that these farm numbers are assigned accordingly once the proper information has been provided to them that would allow them to designate a particular farm number for the micro-urban farms. That brings into a partnership effort on the part of FSA as well as NRCS. Same thing would apply back with USDA rural development. So I'm going to stop at that point, and we're going to go ahead with the first presenter. Again, all the other USDA, and I always say one USDA, that announcement that the mayor gave reference to, that $96 million commitment, and that came directly from the top, from the national office, and from the state to support watersheds and to address conservation issues as it has to do with soil and water management practices. Hopefully we can have the same thing and deal with the planning process where the prosperity communities will be a priority and how those dollars are targeted and how what's already targeted and how those dollars will be implemented. The plan will be implemented that involves the comprehensive plan, not a single one area type of plan. So right now we're going to go with natural resource on the agenda discussion 1 with Natural Resource Conservation Services representative. Are you on?
Kathleen Maylock.
I think
I believe she's in.
I think the mayor said that NRCS was there in person. Can we pull them up, Mike? Pull up and show the area.
Yes,
there we are. Okay, we see Natural Resource Conservation Services. We can see you. Matlock? Ms. Matlock? You all on mute. You need to unmute. Can we do it from here, Mike?
Is he on mute or we just lost it?
All right. You all on mute. You need to unmute. Whoever's operating the system need to unmute you. Steve, are you still on?
Yes, sir. Give me 5 seconds.
Okay. All right.
No, it's Charles. Charles Lewis. Somebody say again 5 seconds.
Yes, sir. I'm going to mute. I'm still unmuted.
Are you the operator there in Camden?
Yes, sir. That's correct. I am.
Okay, I think either the mic is not live where they are you on? Obviously, you're not on mute. I can hear you.
to speak in the microphone also.
Hey, Paula, we just got authorization to hire a temp. Hot Springs County. Yay.
Now, I can hear somebody, but it may not be the right person.
While you're working on that, the next one, they might be, they have a different location. Steve Moulton.
I think they're
You're on mute again.
My PowerPoint.
Okay, I think we have you now. It sounds like you're live.
Are you ready for me, Albert?
Yes, we're ready for you. We're waiting on you.
Okay. Okay, great, Dr. King. Great to see you. It's always a great opportunity to be part of your programs with the Arkansas Community Economic, with Arkansas Land and Community Economic Development Organization. I want to thank the mayor for inviting me back to share with you again about rural development programs. Tommy James is the area director. He may be on the call. I noticed I'm on here twice, and I sent him some information earlier. So if he is, and he wants to turn his camera on or say a few words, I'd like to give him that opportunity. But until I see that, I'll go ahead and continue on. On behalf of our acting state director, Tim Smith, he also wanted to thank Arkansas Land for allowing us to be part of this program today. I wanted to share, I guess for any of y'all that don't know who I am the program coordinator for the South for the Innovation Center out of Washington, D.C. I'm a virtual employee located in Arkansas, in London, Arkansas, which is a very small community. I cover 12 states and also 2 territories. They're the southern states that go from Texas, Oklahoma to the Atlantic. And I have Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as part of my territory. And what I do is I assist state directors and also work on special projects. And what I wanted to share with you today, I want to have a dialogue, and that's what I shared with Mr. Jones yesterday. I think this is the best way to kind of have this interaction to see if we can move your project forward. I first of all want to commend the city of Camden and the group on this Lafayette Historic School that you have already done a lot of the groundwork that needs to be done. And USDA Rural Development has some programs that may be able to assist you. We are proud to say that we help communities build from the ground up. And we do that through the rural housing, rural business, and rural utilities programs. We have actually 42 different programs. And the priorities of USDA Rural Development in the Biden-Harris administration is, first of all, equity, which I heard that in your mission statement. I want to commend you on that also. We want to help all citizens and all communities prosper, especially the underserved. We also, it's one of our priorities is climate. And I heard that also in your mission statement. And then the third is COVID recovery. So those are the 3 priorities of the USDA Rural Development. Again, through our 42 different programs of rural housing, rural business, and rural utilities, we are able to help move projects forward. The work that you've already done on getting the 501c3 is very essential because in order to be eligible for one of the programs that Mr. Jones shared with me that you're interested in is a community facility program. And the community facility program is a loan or a loan and grant program or a guaranteed loan program. Depends on the size of the project, depends on the median household of the income of the area to be served. And also you have to be under the population limit of 20,000 population. So those are some of the criteria in some of the programs that are available through community facilities. Now, the things that we've done in the community facility program in the past is we have financed schools such as the KIPP school over at Helena. We have financed volunteer fire stations, hospitals, medical clinics, daycare centers, and facilities such as animal shelters. So anything a rural community pretty much needs, we're able to do under the community facility program. Now, the area office that serves your area, the area director I mentioned earlier is Tommy James, and him and his staff will be the ones that you'll be working with, directly, and they're located there in Monticello. So with that said, I guess I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have. And you'll probably would like to talk about how to get an application started and other resources that are available. Now, before I go to questions, I also want to mention the Arkansas Community Economic Development Alliance, which is a volunteer group. I talked about that the last time I did a presentation with y'all, that consists of state and federal partners, nonprofits, and foundations. And we meet quarterly and we look at needs assessments to try to move projects forward. And your project is definitely one that the Alliance needs to look at to see if there's other partners that can pull together in the state of Arkansas, if it be a foundation, a nonprofit, or another federal agency, or a state agency, to see if we can pull and leverage funds together and technical assistance. So that's something also that we may want to have some discussion or dialogue about. So I'll turn it back to Albert to see how he wants to facilitate this. Can you hear me?
Steve, let me ask this question, and this is in regard to Camden. One, so I mentioned on the front end, the announcement that I was at this morning, today, along with the mayor of Camden, State Representative Murdoch, along with others, and the mayor of Mariana, on the announcement of the $96 million commitment. Of course, that's not just for Lee County, it's for other states. Now, to the extent that those type of commitments can be made up front, and I don't mean when I say up front, I'm saying it is contingent upon there being a plan, at least for we have the foundation of what the plan is going to represent. To that extent, and what you in the presentation you heard from Dr. Anderson, does that put Camden in a position for RD to say we're prepared to look at it and say we can do a cost share of 75% of that cost on a community facility grant for that community? And I say that if the commitment is made, and you know you have a commitment from RD, you're more inclined, and it makes it a lot easier for you to get a commitment for the additional match money, say from AADC, Arkansas Economic Development Commission, or from the foundation. Would you be able to? Would you be able to promote that initiative based on what you've heard today to that extent, saying that, and getting with the state director, if we can get this commitment on, based on what they say that dollar needs are, if you can do 75% out of it on a community facility grant program, getting the state to say we're willing to make this commitment contingent on the additional, required, say 25% match. And of course, these are low-income communities, so we'll be talking about additional grant monies that are coming from foundations or from economic development, Arkansas Economic Development Authority, one of the two, ADC.
Dr. King, I guess the first thing is, and I meant to mention that at the very beginning, we do have a new state director. Her name is Jill Floyd. My understanding is she's going to report to the state office on May the 9th. I would be more than happy to discuss this project with her and with the community programs program director, Tim Smith. He's acting right now, to discuss this. As far as a commitment, I can't commit anything to you. I can just tell you about the program. Now, if Mr. James was on, he could tell us possibly what the grant possibility is for Lafayette, the school where it's located. The median household income of that area to be served by that project will determine the grant, potentially the grant percentage that project could qualify for. And our grant percentages go from 0 to 75%. So based on the median household income of that area to be served, or some research would have to be done to figure out what grant eligibility that project would be eligible for. And then the other thing I need to mention is we have a limited amount of money that comes down from the national office on grant authority for the community facility program. And in the past, it's always been that emergency or medical type projects had priority. Now, the state director oftentimes is able to help with special projects. So that'll be something that we'll have to talk to Ms. Floyd about when she gets on board. But the first thing we need to do is get with Mr. James and his staff to determine what the grant eligibility would be for that project. So I hope that kind of answers the question there. That by you having the 501c3 status and having estimates and those type of things are going to move you, forward on that project. And like I said, I don't know if Mr. James is on, and if he is, yes, he can unmute. Okay. Mr. James, would you like to make some comments in reference to what I just referred to? Okay. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, we checked on that for the area, the Camden area and Ouachita. It's 35% grant eligible.
35%. Okay. And that's based on the median household income of Camden or the county?
That's for both of them. That's for the city and the county.
Okay. And Mr. King, that's based on census data on the median household income. Isn't that correct, Mr. James?
That is correct. We're operating off 2020 census data.
Okay.
Steve, that's all I'm asking. I'm not saying you can commit the dollars, Mr. James, anyone else, but you're making a commitment to do exactly that the community of those individuals in Camden know what the eligibility criteria is and the maximum amount that rural government will be able to commit as far as a grant is concerned. So that we know what we're working with on the understanding the cost and then understanding the source to deal with what the cost is. So if it's $1 million, then we know that R&D could only invest from a grant perspective 35% of that $1 million. So that's really what we were asking for that. That gives the community a better idea of what they know they can look at resource-wise from rural development. Now, as we move forward,
yes,
then what would be asked in addition to that, are you prepared then based on, and with the community getting to you what those total dollar figures are, then would you be able to, or would you be willing to, at the next quarterly meeting, to say this is what this community project qualifies for in grant dollars. We're going to take this as a priority and hopefully and recommend it to the state director as one that we will support and see if you can get the collaborative initiative to give some commitment to match what you have there. That's really all I'm asking, all we're asking for. We know compliment 35% from R&D on this initiative, that's the maximum. Then R&D to partner in partnership with the others to give equally as much of a commitment to put it on the table at your next meeting.
Yes, I'd be happy to work with the city of Camden and this this group of people that have worked together to put together these estimates and so forth, to assemble a needs assessment and share that with the Arkansas Community Economic Development Alliance on the 13th day of July. And I've actually sent a text to Stacy McCullough earlier today, just a little while ago, saying if I could actually get y'all on the agenda to maybe share this project. So I will work towards that. But the other thing is with the Alliance, there are other funding sources that are members of the Alliance, such as the Arkansas Historical Preservation, that may have some funding that would be able to move towards that. There's also the Arkansas Department of Commerce that might possibly have some funding. And there may be some foundations out there that I'm not even aware of that might have some money to contribute towards this project. So if rural development is able to provide possibly some of the grant money, there may be some other sources out there that we can explore to try to come up with more grant money or potentially some type of technical assistance to assist in this project. The other thing, keep in mind, we have a guaranteed loans program under the community facility, and we have a direct loan program that we could possibly explore also. Isn't that correct, Mr. James?
That is correct.
So there's a lot of different things that we can look at, Dr. King, to bring pieces of the puzzle, so to speak, together to see if we can fund this project and move it forward. And like, you shared in the beginning, there are phases. We may have to do phase 1 and then go do to phase 2 and phase 3. And I think that's great that y'all have it already broke down. I can tell you've done a lot of work on this project, on getting it in order to move forward, to look at funding resources. And Mr. James, I don't know, do you know of any other programs that might be eligible in that program, in that area, to help with this project?
I would say that the community facility is the vehicle that they will need to utilize to try to get that needed assistance.
Okay, so that will help get the ball started, and then maybe we can get other organizations to come in and assist. Is that what you needed, Dr. King?
Well, yeah, I wanted that, but don't just look at community facilities. You should also look at what used to be called the Rural Business Enterprise Grant Program, because to the extent that this initiative, which can do 100%, okay, to look at that, if this particular initiative would qualify for the rural, used to be called Rural Business Enterprise Grant Program, and how that plan would have to be designed. One, I know if you're talking about that grant program, you have to have, and sound like that mission and what that project initiative is going to be about, it will be facilitating business development. So in essence, in this particular facility, it will be operating as a business from this facility to facilitate other business and community economic development. And I'm thinking possibly right now, based on that presentation, it will possibly qualify under that program. And we're talking about a lot more money. I mean, you could be talking, if it's a $2 million, $3 million type of initiative, while there is a cultural component to it, there's a workforce readiness component to it that has to do with supporting private business. There was also another component to it where they talked about assisting and being a part of the economic development, business development initiatives. Now that used to qualify under that particular grant program with rural development. So I not just community facility, 35%, unless we have the others to come to the table and put the additional dollars in, sound like it's well over $1 million type of cost tag attached to that. But then the The other grant program under the enterprise grant program, we'd like for y'all to look at that also. At least let us know specifically what those requirements would be for eligibility under the 100% grant program for community economic development in that category as well. But Steve, I appreciate.
Yes, I think that's a real possibility. And we need to bring in Tim Smith, the program director, in order to expand that conversation, because he's the one that's actually directs that program. But what I'd like to do, Dr. King, I would like whenever Ms. Floyd comes on duty, after she kind of gets her feet on the ground, so to speak, is for me and Mr. James and perhaps some people from the city of Camden and Mr. Smith to sit down and talk about the rural development programs that could possibly assist this project. And then I would like to help y'all get a needs assessment completed for the Alliance meeting on July the 13th. And hopefully you could even do a presentation of pretty much kind of what you did earlier today and see if there's some other funding resources we can put together and put a working group together to try to move this project forward. Sure, looking forward to working with you.
We'll get back with the group on that from an individual perspective. What I will need in that process is the engineer that they have working with them. They do have an engineer that can prepare and have all that information for you from the needs assessment perspective, along with all the cost projections for the overall project. So I don't see that being a challenge at all. I did have an opportunity to meet the community's engineer that's working on a contingency basis, and hopefully with this whole project being funded, with the other components being put in for NRCSs and the rest of them. So we'll look forward to that, and we'll definitely have that needs assessment to you, and we'll communicate back with the engineer to try to make sure that happens in a very timely fashion. Steve, thanks a lot. We're going to move on to the next one.
Thank you, Dr. King.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Do we have NRCS? Are we able to get them up and get them live on mic now? Is NRCS, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Okay. We have you visual now with NRCS.
Sir, could you pull up my PowerPoint?
We can hear you. Go ahead. Okay.
All right. You want to hear me all right?
Yes, we can hear you good.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, we can.
I was asking the audience. All right. So my name is Nakana Yula Morton. I am the soil econ at the Camden office, and I'm here to talk to you about our EQIP program. Can you go to the next one? All right. So the EQIP program, the Environmental Quality Incentives Program, provides financial, technical, and technical assistance to agriculture and forestry producers to address natural resource concerns and deliver benefits such as improved water and air quality, conserve ground and surface water, soil erosion and sediment, and improve or create wild habitats. Next one, please. All right, so to be eligible for the EQIP program, an applicant has to be an agricultural producer. Their land eligibility, they need to be privately owned land, public land, or tribal land. For the resource concern eligibility, they need to have at least one natural resource concern and be able to address it with an eligible conservation practice or activity. And the conservation practices or activities are the practices that we provide, like erosion control or something like that. So irrigation history requirements offered for enrollment in EQIP must have been irrigated for at least 2 out of the last 5 years to qualify for irrigation-related conservation practices and activities to improve water. So that means there had to be a presence of some sort of agricultural activity like vegetation, something like that on the property. Next one, please. All right, so how EQIP works. Financial assistance payments are made on complete practices. So once it's completed, you'll get are made to produce approved conservation practices on eligible land to help producers develop Conservation Act plans known as CAP to address specific land use payment or land use issues. So payments are made on completed practices or activities identified in an EQIP contract that meet NRCS standards. Payment rates are set each fiscal year and are attached to the EQIP contract, which is approved. Next one, please. All right, so the benefits of the EQIP program. EQIP is a voluntary conservation program that help producers make conservation work for them. Together, NRCS and producers invest in solutions that conserve natural resources for the future while also improving agricultural operations. Through EQIP, NRCS provides agricultural producers with financial resources and one-on-one help to plan and implement improvements, or what NRCS calls conservation practices. Using these practices can lead to water and air, healthier soils and wildlife habitat, all while improving agricultural operations through EQIP. Through EQIP, you can voluntarily implement conservation practices and NRCS co-invest in these practices with you. So next one, please. So historically underserved producers, they may be eligible for higher payment rates. It says historically underserved producers, which are limited resource farmers, ranchers, beginning farmers, ranchers, socially disadvantaged Indian tribes, and veteran farmers or ranchers. Or self-certified NRCS CPA 1200 conservation program application are eligible for higher practice payment rates to support implementation of contract conservation practices and activities. Historically underserved producers may also be issued advanced payment up to 50% of the established payment rate to purchase material or contracting services to begin installation of approved conservation practices. Self-certified social disadvantaged farmers or ranchers, beginning farmers or ranchers, and veteran farmers or rancher producers may elect to be evaluated in the special EQIP funding pool. Next one, please. So how to apply for EQIP. To get started, NRCS first works one-on-one with you, a conservation practice that meets your goals and vision for the land. This becomes a roadmap for which conservation practices best meet your needs. Applications for EQIP financial assistance are accepted throughout the year. Specific deadlines are set for ranking and funding opportunities within each state. The best way to learn if EQIP is a good fit for you is by contacting your local NRCS office. If you choose to move forward, your local NRCS conservationist will guide you through applying for this program. Once your application has been filed and both you and your land are determined to be eligible for EQIP, the local NRCS conservation planner will have a one-on-one consultation with you to evaluate the current condition of the natural resource conditions or concerns on your land. An NRCS conservation planner will present you with a variety of conservation practices or systems to address your concerns or management of your goals while improving and protecting natural resource conditions on your land. Next one, please. So this continuation. Assessments of practices and activities that will result in greater environmental benefits for natural state and or local natural resource priorities will receive a higher score and higher priority to receive an offer for financial assistance. Applications are ranked, and if you NRCS will offer you an EQIP contract to receive financial assistance for the cost of implementation of the practice. Payment rates for the conservation practice are reviewed and set each fiscal year. Next one, please. So EQIP ranking categories. There are state, which is alternative crops, HU, historical underserved categories, seasonal high tunnel, crop, pasture, forestry, wildlife, CAFO, and strike forest. And then under local, it's local-led conservation group for each county. National initiatives, it's organic transition or farm energy, and then landscape conservation initiatives. So the Mississippi River Basin Initiative, the National Water Quality Initiative, Joint Chief Landscape Partnership. Next one, please. So this is a list of resource concerns that we would cover. So sheet and rill erosion, degraded plant, nutrients transported to ground and surface water, soil organic matter depletion, inefficient irrigation water use, inadequate livestock water quality, quantity, and distribution, plant pest pressure, and classic gully erosion. Next, please. And this is a list of our conservation practices. So there's a seasonal high tunnel, micro irrigation, water well, irrigation pipeline, irrigation water management, irrigation land leveling, cover crops, pasture planting, livestock pipeline, fire break, and forest stand improvement. Next, please. So current Arkansas signups. Arkansas EQIP is a continuous signup. We're accepting applications. Other additional fiscal year 2022 EQIP initiatives may be, and announcements will be forthcoming. During COVID pandemics, NRCS has additional flexibility with accepting applications. Remember that EQIP applications are accepted on a continuous basis. Please contact your local NRCS office in your county if you're interested in applying. And then thank you and have a blessed day. Are there any questions? Yeah. There was something about a cattle like construction. Yeah, that. Any other questions? Well, thank you.
That's a part of the initiative by the Lafayette School Recreation project is the EQIP, and it sounds like you all are already doing some work in developing, I'm assuming, what will be the EQIP plan itself to try to get a contract initiated for both the hoop house as well as installation of other practices that would go along with that. I'm only going to give reference to this again. A commitment was made today, $96 million, and that's the address watershed. We did have watershed on there. The $96 million from the national office and from the state office. Camden is a part of that initiative. So to the extent that the local community can have discussions both with the mayor as well as the county judge, and again, it's not just Camden, but the county as a whole, all of that would be a part of the overall comprehensive plan along with the Lafayette School restoration for community economic development. So all of that is one comprehensive, a part of the overall comprehensive plan based on what the needs are that exist in the Camden area. Wetland, not the wetland, but conservation easement is another one. And again, that wasn't on the list. I just want to give reference to that. Conservation easement is another program area under the Natural Resource Conservation Services. And it can be very beneficial for those individuals who have land that may qualify. And there's a payment schedule. I think the maximum for Arkansas now is roughly some $3,200 for the conservation easement program. And again, that depends upon the eligibility, the land eligibility. They do have a set-aside program. There's a set-aside initiative that's taking place now with NRCS in the state of Arkansas and some other organizations that we do partner with. So those individuals who qualify, who feel that and know that their land qualify, I would encourage you to contact the NRCS office if you want to put your land into. I think the minimum acreage is 40. Is it 40 acres or the 20 acres? The minimum acreage put it in conservation easement.
I'm not sure. You know.
Okay, it's either 40 acres or 20 acres. But I'm only giving this as an example on the conservation easement program with NRCS. But you can do the math, you know, if you have 40 acres and you still own the land. So if you put it into the conservation easement program, that's a permanent easement, you still own your land. The maximum average payment for Arkansas is roughly $3,200 per acre now. So that can be very beneficial for some who may be landowners and do not want to continue to have their land in operation, and it qualifies for the program. And again, they do have set aside for the underserved individuals, landowners, and those are the social disadvantaged sides of it and the minority segment population that qualify for that particular project and for that funding support. So again, this is based on the Camden area and the county as a whole. And so individuals who you may know or those who may be online now, please be aware that pass the word on. If you want additional information on it, you can contact NRCS or you can contact our office. And we can work with you through that process, as well as the organization that is working with the set-aside funding for putting underserved and minority population land into the conservation easement program. And you still own the land. Again, you still own the land, something individuals may want to consider. I'll take a look at. So that's all I have on that. NRCS, I'd like to thank you very much for that presentation. They have a number of other programs as well. If you deal with wildlife habitat conservation programs in general, forget what the total number is. I want to say 200 plus. Am I correct on that? 200 plus conservation type of practices that people can receive cost share funding on, or is it 400?
Again, I don't know.
Okay, I'm not trying to put you on the spot there. I apologize. But we do have the conservation booklet on that. Individuals who are interested, you can contact our office and we'll send the conservation booklet out. I think it's roughly 200 plus nearly 300 different practices and things that you can do. Everything dealing with beehives to taking underbrush out in certain areas on land that you may own. A lot of practices, cost share that's provided as part of those practices, and that's contingent upon what the presentation was on for the underserved segments of population, veterans, if you're a veteran also as a party point in receiving the benefit of those services. So again, we want to thank NRCS, and we're going to move on down with the agenda. Thank you very much. I understand right now we have a toll both with those online and the audience that's in person there. We have a toll of roughly some, it's 40 plus people that's participating in this particular meeting right now. So I want to thank all of you that's a part of the meeting. We're going to now go to the workshop, our discussion on agenda number 3, and this is with USDA Farm Service Agency. I know that name has already been mentioned. Is Farm Service Agency on?
Yes, sir. I am here. Hello, Dr. King and Mr. Jones. Thank you for inviting me to this meeting. I am the director over the Ouachita Union County Farm Service Agency. I also am the director over the Dallas Cleveland Farm Service Agency and the Hot Springs County, Garland, Grant, and Sling County. So I have 3 offices that people can actually go into. One is in Camden, one is in Fordyce, and one is in Malvern. And I serve 8 counties. And I have a PowerPoint. I'm sorry, I couldn't.
I was trying to get a visual on your camera. Are you on?
I think so. It doesn't say that it's not X'd out.
Do you have your camera turned on?
As far as I can tell, I do. It says, they're not Xed out.
Okay, I apologize, sir. Go ahead. We can hear you very well, though. Go ahead. I don't know if you had you want to do a visual presentation?
Yes, sir, I do. I have a slideshow, and there's a button here to share the screen. So I will try that, and hopefully it works.
Okay, I was trying to see if we could get that from a visual perspective.
Can everyone see the screen? Is it actually working?
Okay, we have you now. We do have visual on the screen now. We have it. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes.
I'm with the Farm Service Agency. We have been around since the Great Depression. This agency was developed to support the farmers and the local community with food and fiber, and well, let's see. I have told this to start the slideshow. There we go. And like I said, I'm with the Farm Service Agency. We help with all the farmers, ranchers, agri organizations to provide food, fuel, fiber for nationwide and worldwide. Did you know that the agricultural facts, there's 97% of Arkansas farms are family owned. That's 49,346. And it's the small farmer that we're trying to keep going. Arkansas is the agricultural, one of the largest industries, adding around 16 billion to the state's economy each year. Arkansas ranks third in cotton production with around 7% of the US crop. There's 14.5 million acres of Arkansas land resources consisted of workable farmland. Arkansas ranks #1 in the nation on rice production. Arkansas has 18,778,660 acres of forest land or timberland, which that's right in your area. We have new and beginning farmers and ranchers. We have programs to help beginning farmers. We consider a beginning farmer anyone that has started farming within the last 10 years. They are considered beginning farmers. We have farm programs, farm loan programs, resources that cover a lot of various programs that can reach out and help. We have additional offer assistance for beginning farmers and ranchers. We can help you get started to grow your operation, to start your operation with the loan programs. And I went over about the 10 years to beginning farmer. Legal entities must, to be considered a beginning farmer, all members must be blood or marriage related and must be beginning farmers. Your first step should be to contact the USDA Service Center and make an appointment. We have to update your land records. So if you're not already in our system, we have to get a copy of the deed. We have to get you to fill out a form giving us your name, your address, your social security number, and some other data that lets us be able to help you to the full degree. There's specialty farmer groups. FSA offers help to the unique concerns of producers who meet the definition of historically underserved, which is beginning farmers, socially disadvantaged farmers, limited resource farmers, and military veterans. And they also consider women in agriculture to qualify for various programs in this category. Military veterans, they are considering the last 10 years, if you are a veteran from the last 10 years. There's urban agricultural, refers to the cultivation, processing, and distribution of agricultural products in urban and suburban settings, including things like vertical production, warehouse farms, community gardens, rooftop farms, hydroponic, aeroponic, aquaponic facilities, and other innovations. Urban farmers and gardeners work among diverse populations to expand access to nutritious foods, foster community engagement, provide jobs, educate communities about farming, and expand the green spaces. If you're an organic farmer or interested in becoming an organic farmer, we have loans available. You can go with we have guaranteed loans, we have direct loans. They're available for conventional farmers and organic. You may also apply with USDA to pay a portion of your certification for the organic certificate that you have to receive each year to become an organic farmer. You have to have your land sitting out for 3 years with no chemicals and no operation is one of the qualifications to become an organic certified farm. In addition to the county office staff, USDA has beginning farmer and rancher coordinators that can also assist you in understanding the USDA process and find the right assistance in your operation. We have coordinators across the country. Whether you're in farming currently or would like information to get started in farming. In Arkansas, that would be Danny Hoots. He is the Arkansas Beginning Farmer Coordinator. The farm programs, we have safety net programs, which guarantee the price support of the different farm crops. And actually in Washita County, Union County, Dallas, and Cleveland, this past Monday, the livestock feed program became in existence there. So we are there to support all the cattle operations, and they are eligible for a payment with the livestock feed program. They would have to come into our office and report. If they're not set up on the farm, they have to bring their records, get set up on their farm, give us their cattle numbers, and it will start a process. And there's, of course, quite a few other forms, but it will start the process to issue them a payment to help support the beef industry and the cattle operations. We have conservation reserve programs. We have aerial photography field offices, market facility loans. And then on the farm loan side, we have direct and guaranteed loans, micro loans, which a micro loan is a loan that can go up to the limit of $50,000. And you do not have to have as large of a percentage of money down. You only have to have 5% instead of the normal 15% with all other loans. There's direct youth loans and guaranteed conservation loans. Did you know that FSA is home to one of the country's largest aerial film libraries? It houses more than 60,000 rolls of film and over 10 million images. The farm program safety net programs, the first one they're talking agricultural risk conservation, the ARC PLC program is what we call it. That is a program that bases were established on that farm. You could have farmed this land in 1950 and your grandparents could have and established a cotton base or a rice base. And as long as you file your acreage reports each year with the office, you are protecting those bases. And at certain times of the year, we have enrollment into that program. And depending on the market each year, you could receive a payment to help support your farming interests in that manner. There are the WIP program, which was the Wildlife and Hurricane Indemnity program, which it paid extra funds for losses to crops that was caused by a natural disaster. We have the Non-Insured Crop Assistance Program, which is called, we call it NAP. That program can help all the cattle farmers in Washita, Union counties, all the other counties. It is based on, there's a lot of various different types of crops, but for the instance on the cattle farmer, you can get a protection for your grazed acres that you're grazing for your cattle. In case there's a drought, this program can pick up and pay you a payment to help you to feed your cows through the winter. There are also programs on that line with hay production. We have the Livestock Indemnity program. So a couple of months ago, we had a real bad freeze and some real nasty cold weather. Say you had a cow that froze to death. You could report it to us. You have to fill out some extra papers and do some extra procedures, but we can pay you for that cow if it was, the death was due to a natural disaster. We have the emergency assistance for livestock, honeybees, and farm-raised fish, the ELAP program. It does the same thing, but it helps for the honeybees and the farm-raised catfish, minnow farming. It covers that also. We have the tree assistance program that covers orchards and nurseries that were damaged or destroyed by a natural disaster, which includes hurricanes and wildfires. We do not have very many hurricanes around here. We actually just, I have to do a report later this week. We have had a wildfire in Grant County, and it destroyed, or it didn't really destroy to the degree, it was all timberland, that it burned over 15,000 acres of land. So this is the first wildfire to that large a degree that I'm aware of in my area. We have the margin protection program. This is a dairy program to help the dairy farmers to keep the price of milk stable. Now we can go into the farm loan programs. We have, once again, the beginning farmers and ranchers. We have various programs to help someone to start farming. A lot of the farmers these days are all of the older age. We are trying to reach out and trying to help people to start to farming. We have emergency loans that can help with low interest money to help to get through a disaster. Direct operating loans and direct ownership loans. Micro loans, which are the $50,000 or below price on the micro loan. The guaranteed loans and the youth loans are your guaranteed loans are commercial lenders that extend credit to family farm operators and owners who do not qualify for a standard commercial loan. Farmers receive credit at reasonable terms to finance their current operation or to expand their business. Financial institutions receive additional loan business and servicing fees, as well as other benefits from the program, such as the protection of loss for up to 95% of that loan. Your youth loans are limited to $5,000 with the maximum of 7 years. To be considered a youth, you have to range from the age 10 to 20 years old and participate in 4-H clubs, Future Farmers of America, or similar organizations. your minorities and your women farmers and ranchers. We are here to support them. Like I was mentioning earlier about the non-insured crop assistance program, we have programs that they're free of charge if you're in one of these categories. It will not cost you anything to enroll. And we have, you can sign in and sign up. You can go through the data system with farmers.gov, and it's an interactive resource for farmers by farmers. Farmers.gov now includes the functionalities from FSA Farm Plus. Producers with farmers.gov accounts can now access their farm records and their maps online. And it makes it quick and easy for you to access your personal information sitting on your computer, your tablet, or your phone. You can view, print, export your farm records that consist of your cropland, your base acres, your yields, your CRP acreage, which is the Conservation Reserve Program, your land ownership details. There's a lot of various items that you can print out. The county committee elections, we are, they established this, like I said, back with the Depression. The county committee to the Farm Service Agency is a very unique group of people. That's how we reach out to the communities to get your input as to what is needing. You know, if there's a disaster in your area, that if I was 3 counties away, I might not realize that, where that's what a county committee is for, is to help support the local farming community and relay to us so we can help you. They're a critical component of the day-to-day operations, and this is a grassroots input and local administration of the federal farm programs. Keep up with what's going on with FSA through our newsletters and bulletin. We have a Gov Delivery bulletin that one is sent out monthly. And then if there's a special news, just example, the livestock feed program, I sent out a special bulletin to try to reach out to let everyone know, because we're starting to sign up and it will end. We do have an extended date, so it will not end until January of 23. But if you're not enrolled and already know about these programs, it's hard to reach out to someone that does not have any of these connections to know what we do have available. So keep up with what's going on with FSA. You can also do this by text message alerts. On your phone, you can text to Arkansas, and then you type out the county. So it would be Arkansas, Ouachita to FSA Now, to that number 372-669. And that will subscribe you to text messages alerts from our county office. We will not send out more than 2 a month. Usually the only way that we send out messages if we're really trying to reach out in a fast manner to get the word out. And it's a very short message. We cannot put very many words in the text message. Are you looking for answers to the FSA questions? You can go to the website ask.usda.gov. You can access this 24/7, get answers to your questions faster, receive timely answers from USDA experts, receive notifications when answers important to you are updated, customize your account settings, and view responses at any time. FSA encourages producers to contact their county office to discuss any farm programs. FSA county office is still available to customers. We have recently opened back up the doors are open. You do not have to call to make an appointment anymore. You do not have to call, so we will unlock the door for you. They have opened us back up and we are back at full staff and we're here to assist. Any questions?
I want to make a statement. First of all, express appreciation to the Farm Service Agency and the remarkable presentation that was given. The Camden community itself and the Lafayette School Restoration Initiative, part of your goals, your efforts to deal with workforce readiness and with hopefully beginning farmers as well as a business enterprise. Of course, micro urban farm is a business enterprise. As we move forward and try to look at how we will develop this plan for support from rural development and your role in community economic development, rural community economic development. Again, I want to thank all the presenters, all of our resource people, Natural Resource Conservation Services, Camden, the Camden community, and all those who participated on the agenda, rural development, again, NRCS, Rural Development and Farm Service Agency. I want to pause at this point just for 1 minute because I want to introduce a person here that's new to our staff, one, and two, as Farm Service Agency gave reference to the youth program. Of course, the youth program, youth are beginning farmers. But I want to introduce Alexis, if you would. I'm just going to have her come over here, Mike. Yeah, just come over here. Miss Alexis Woolen, she's on board now with us with Arkansas Land and Community Development Corporation. She's our youth program director. And hopefully a lot of those with both Farm Service Agency, with the youth program, loan program, she'll be working with the youth and other beginning farmers as well, particularly on the farm segment as the mentoring support network of farmers back with youth as well as the youth program. So I want to introduce her, Ms. Alexis Woolen. Do you have anything to say?
Just really happy to be here, and I hope to work with all of you guys sometime in the near future and have a great rest of the day.
All right. So anyway, she's new with us. So those in the Camden community, you gave reference to workforce readiness and youth. Alexis will be the one that will be heading that program. If you have questions regarding our youth program, if you have an interest in having some youth to participate in your area, call our office again, 870-734-1140. And we'll do an intake on that and provide you with the required information. We will also have up on the website the application, those who want to make application for the youth program, and information regarding the upcoming youth rally that I think is May the 8th, 7th. Okay. Anyway, we'll have that. The notice will be up on the website as well regarding the upcoming rally with the youth program, and that, of course, will be providing more information on the program, startup date, time period, which will be in June, and the benefits of the program and how you can benefit from the program. Again, youth are our next generation, and we do put those in the category of beginning farmers and how we deal with the pathway program from education and training on how to become a beginning farmer, as well as other careers and opportunities in the agricultural arena. Again, thank everyone for that participation. And we'll be looking forward to seeing you at the next meeting, seeing and hearing you at the next meeting. Thank you very much.